The National Treasury is involved in a modelling process at the moment to look at issues pertaining to the state of the power stations and so on. We have joined that process. We want to look at if there are recommendations that we should extend the life of some of the aging stations by a couple of years, what impact that would have on our carbon emission targets and also what impact that would have on air pollution. Let me give an example. Camden Power Station. This year we were supposed to take, I think it was 400 megawatts off the grid. Clearly you can't do that in the middle of such an enormous energy crisis that we're facing. The question we want to look at is what would be the implications if we were to extend Camden Power Station's life by a year or two. In our view, there is a bit of leg room so that we can meet both our energy needs and also our climate change and pollution requirements. The aging power stations need to be closed down by 2030. If we were to extend their lives by a year or two, it is still possible to meet those targets. I think that what is important to say is that renewable energy is not a religion, it's a power source. And we have to make sure that we get new generation capacity onto the grid so that we can facilitate decommissioning where that is required. The biggest constraint at the moment to get additional capacity onto the grid is the limitations of our transmission infrastructure. So I did think the public would be interested to know that we do have 15 transmission and distribution projects before us. Of course, here again, we will be looking at where these projects are in areas of low sensitivity, that we can speed up giving the go-ahead, because we understand that it's of absolute national priority that we increase the transmission infrastructure as quickly as possible. We have already about 800 megawatts of renewables in the Northern Cape, which we are not able at the moment to put onto the grid. And that's why these transmission projects are of such importance to everyone.
Well, of course, and the delay in the decommissioning of some of those aging infrastructure has been something that the president has also thrown his weight by. And earlier on, I said 2023, it's actually 2030, the deadline that they are now looking at as we delay the decommissioning of some of this ailing infrastructure to get some of them to actually help us as we face these electricity crises.